in the now faith, life in the now, with Nicky, Clarence, with Nicky, Clarence, now faith, life in the now, with Nicky, Clarence, with Nicky, Clarence, now faith, life in the now, with Nicky, Clarence.
Hello. Come on in. Welcome. All of you who are out there, welcome. Right now, it's hard for me to see everyone who's on. So I just want to say welcome. Thank y'all so much for joining us on tonight. I'm excited about several things. First of all, I have not done my podcast. This is crazy because I got off of the radio maybe about 8 months ago, and I have a podcast, and I kind of just put everything on the back burner. But I started working behind the scenes, getting ready to put this podcast back out there to share with you guys the stories. And, it's still there with so many guests. So you guys have to really connect. Go to my website, nickycollins.org, and just connect with me. But I'm super excited tonight because we have an amazing guest. So guys, go ahead, tag and share, call your friends, especially you local, the ones that are local, all of my local friends. Tag and share. If you're in Leon County, Gadsden County, surrounding area, go ahead and tag and share. And for all of my friends all over everywhere else, look, just join in because tonight I'm excited about our very, very special guest. Our very special guest, he's someone that I've known for years, literally grew up together. God has truly blessed this man of God. God has empowered him. He strengthened him for such a time as this. Before I introduce my guest, before I bring my guest on, there's something that I just want to read on tonight. I want to read this quote right quick because it spoke to me. And last night when, I saw this quote, I had to go ahead and I had to post it on my Facebook page because it really said something to where we are today, y'all. Where we are today. We're talking about change. And so this quote says, progress is impossible without change. And those who cannot change their minds cannot change anything. Look, it's time for us to change our mind. If we want to see something different, then we have to do something different. Change is not change until it has changed. So for all of you out there who are looking for something different, you're looking to see something innovative. You're looking to see something better that's going to help us, grow and go into this new direction in which God has taken us, then that means we have to do something different. So if you want to see something different, you got to vote different. You got to think different. You got to expand your mind in order to expand your territory. And so tonight, I'm happy because he's my very first guest right out of the block coming back on. He's my very first guest. I remember interviewing him years ago, right before he launched Destiny Church Tallahassee. Y'all, I've already let the cat out the bag, but it's amazing how many years that I have watched him live by faith and to grow and to develop into the man of God that he is today. So y'all, I want you to welcome my very special guest, who is also my classmate, class of 92, Mr. Pastor Clarence Jackson. Welcome, my friend, my classmate. Welcome.
Hey, I'm excited to be here tonight. Really excited to be here tonight, Nicky. Thank you for having me.
Look, I'm happy to have you. I'm excited about what God is doing in your life. You have truly, you have, I don't even know what the word to say in this season. Like, you have overcome so many different things. You have shown your faith to so many people. People see you. And, yes, a lot of people know you, but to know you on this level, this is different. This is different.
Yeah.
This comes from a new place here. So I'm very excited about that. And tonight, the theme is, the man, the motivation, and the mission. So we're just going to have a conversation on tonight. Clarence, we're just going to talk on tonight, talk about some issues, talk about, what it is that you desire to see in our community.
Yeah.
So, first of all, I know I introduced you, but if you want to share anything else, about who you are as a man, I want people to know who you are as a man of God, man of faith, a man.
Well, I'm Clarence Jackson, of course, pastor of Destiny Church. I'm a former mayor and commissioner in the city of Gretna. I've been in public life since I was a boy, since I was 19 years old. And I have a heart for Gadsden County. I was born in Gretna. I live right now just a couple of miles outside of the city line in Gretna. I've never had any intention of going anywhere. I live within a rock's throw of my mama. I live near my brother. I live near my sister. Dee's family is right here next to us. So I've always been a Gadsden County boy, and I've been a person who lately have just been so discouraged about what I see happening in my county. And Nicky, I just want to just share this, right off the bat. I did not want to get back into politics.
Wow.
I own a business. I own a life insurance brokerage firm. D and I cover people from all over the country. We're contracted with companies all over the country. And it wasn't my mission to get back into politics. There was already another young lady running against the incumbent, and some community stakeholders reached out to me and said, Clarence, we need you to run. We want you to run. And I pushed it off. And it was one conversation that I had with James Payne. And he asked me, where are your kids? Where are your kids right now? And do your kids plan on coming back to Gadsden County? And the answer I gave them, that was the answer that sparked my interest in running again. And the answer is no. There's no young person that I know that have any will to be successful or any will to, grow a family, a place that's built to work and play. Listen, my kids don't want to live here. My son is in Tampa right now. My daughter is getting ready to go off to law school. And that saddens me because when I grew up, it was no other place I wanted to be. I wanted to be a country boy. I wanted to be near my family and my friends. Yeah. And that's not the way it is right now. And the reason why our children don't want to stay here is because there's nothing here. And it's pretty sad.
Yeah. Well, I'm a Gadsden County native as well. I live in Leon County right now, but when I do so much work in Gadsden County, I'm always there because my family is there. I know your heart. I understand. But my children as well, neither one of them live in the area. I have one in Gainesville in college. I have the other one in Jacksonville. They don't want to, because it's time for something different. They're looking for change as well. Our families work so hard in that land. Just like you said, Gretna, you and Dee both, I think y'all from that area. And right now, I just want to shout out to Dee. Hey, Dee, the lovely Dee Jackson, First Lady Dee Jackson. Yeah. God bless you, woman of God. Love you. And the kids, thank God for you being out there because it takes a strong woman to stand behind her husband when you take this leap of faith to say, look, I'll be that person to go and bring about this change, help bring about this change. And guys, Clarence, can you tell the people what you're running for, what district in Gadsden County?
So I'm running for District 4. And District 4 is comprised of several small communities. Number one, Gretna. And then you have St. John, you have Robertsville, you have Mount Pleasant, you have Friendship, and you also have areas of Scotttown. And so what's important to know is that when you look at Robertsville, when you look at St. John, even when you look at Gratna, when you look at Friendship, there's nothing happening. There's no development. There's nothing happening. The houses still look the same. The roads still look the same. And mom and pop stores that were popular when I grew up. Like I used to be able to go to the Thompson store in Gratna and get everything I needed. But all of those stores have closed down. And what's crazy is when I go to places like Bainbridge, and no disrespect to Bainbridge, but guys, when I was growing up, I would have never thought in a million years that Bainbridge would look like it looks, that there would be so many things to do there, and that it will overtake Gadsden County. Not only Bainbridge, I didn't want to live in Jackson County. Who wants to live in Mariana? Who wants to live in Crawfordville? But all of those surrounding areas, have tremendously outgrown Gadsden County, and it's been like that forever. And if the people of this district, if the people in this county, if there was ever a time that we needed to make a change, it's now. And I'll just finish with you, Nikki. I asked, there was a debate that was held a couple of days ago. Unfortunately, the incumbent, Ms. Brenda Holt, she didn't show up. The other challenger did not show up. But I asked a very poignant question at the end of that debate. And here was the question. If you were sick and you went to a doctor and that doctor prescribed you a medicine and made you promises about what that medicine would do, and 20 years later, you were still suffering from the same thing you went to the doctor for. The question was, would you keep that doctor? And nobody in the room raised their hand. And I asked a follow-up question. Would you fire that doctor if he had made you promises, if he had given you medicine and told you that everything was going to be all right for 20 years and nothing changed? And everybody raised their hand. There's no way in the world that the people of Gadsden County and the people in this district can have taken the same medicine for 20 years, got no results, and want to keep the same commissioner. And I want to be very respectful, but the truth is the truth.
Right.
There's been no major change. Our school system is continuing to go downhill, and I thank God for current leadership, and I think we might be on an upward trajectory. But the people who have been in office for all this time, the truth is they have let us down. Seriously, let us down.
My God. And look, that was the next question. What was your motivation behind stepping in the race right now? And so bringing forth change. And sometimes I believe that people, they had good hearts and good intentions when it started. When it first, you know how when you start out in something, you're ready to go, and you have this vigor, and you have ideas and fresh ideas, and maybe for that time that was great. But I truly believe that now is the time for innovative change. Now is the time for us. There's a whole new generation. We're in our 40s, like we're really pressing on to 50. So it is time for us to stand up. It's time for this new generation to step in. And a lot of times it's hard to let go of the old. It's hard to let go of the old because people have become so comfortable, but you don't know what's ahead of you if you don't release something. And I believe that people like Mama Leslie, your mother, who I love dearly, people like her and my mother, who lives in St. John, who's been there her entire life. I believe that they're ready for change. They're ready to see something different. Right now there are dire needs in those areas, and it's time for us to address those needs.
Well, there's a couple things I want to say about that. Number one, there's no way I should even be competitive in this race after what I've experienced over the past 3 months.
Right.
In the middle of the campaign, as we were just ramping up, my dad died. Crushed. 3 months later, Jay was doing well. And shortly after my dad died, we learned that the cancer had returned. And I don't want to make this conversation about Jay. I want to
Right.
be clear about that.
Right.
But my baby passed away. And
Mm.
it really derailed my entire campaign. There have been people who have asked me, where have you been? How was the campaign? And the truth is that it's taken some steam off of the campaign, because to lose a father
Mhm.
and to lose a child within months of each other is absolutely devastating. And I took some time, and I didn't care what anybody thought about it. Even if it cost me an election, my number one priority was to get my mind right, to
Right.
get my heart right, and to make sure that my family was secure. There's no reason I should be in this race after the couple of months that I've had. But the truth is, not only are we in this race, we're looking to win this race. And the reason why we're looking to win this race is because people are looking for change. And let me just say this: when we were out on the campaign trail really, really heavily, I would go and knock on a door, and I would hand a flyer, and people, they don't want to be bothered with campaigns and candidates and that type of thing. And I would hand them a flyer, and they would kind of look mean at me, and they would just look over the flyer, and then they would look candidate District 4. And they say, "Hey, are you running against Brenda Holt?" And I say, "Yes, sir." And they would say, "You don't have to talk to me anymore. You can say your conversation for somebody else. We're going to support you because we need change." When I was in Friendship, I stopped by this lady's house whose son was just about to was coming home, and she said, "Let me introduce you to the candidate that I just met." And this boy cried. This boy cried. He said, "Mr. Jackson," and he pointed up the street. He said, "We need somebody in that office that's going to hear us. That's going to hear us." We spent, as Gadsden Countyans, we spent millions of dollars to build this roundabout at on Barack Obama, and used to be Atlanta Street. And that boy said, "My friend got killed because he had to walk in the road, at nighttime, got killed. He had to walk in the road at nighttime on that corner in Friendship. And the only thing we asked was for them to cut the grass or build us a sidewalk." See, this is the type of stuff that the community is talking about. You can take pictures all day long with the senators and the congressmen. You can take pictures all day long with the sheriff, and we can talk a little bit about that later. You can send out the flyers, and I want to talk about this later. But the people in the community are hurting. If you walk down the street in St. John, right behind St. John Elementary School, right off of the main drag, you will see a trash road. And this
Wow.
person has been in office for 20 whole years.
Mm.
20 whole years. And people are asking for simple things like, if you're not going to build us a sidewalk to get into town because my friend passed away, can you please just mow the grass? And if you go to Friendship right now, you probably see that the grass is still not mowed. And you'll probably
Mhm.
see that there's no sidewalk there. That's what the people in District 4, that's what we're asking for.
My God, that is not, and see, this is this is why it's time to speak up. This is why these type platforms and these type conversations must be had, because how do we get to that place where we start seeing the change that we desire? And one thing is by knowing who you're voting for, looking at what has already happened, write down your expectations so that whoever gets in that office, that you hold them accountable. Now, Clarence, how you've named several things that that needs to be changed right now. How will you play an intricate part in bringing forth that change if you're elected?
I'm gonna show you something. I held up this flyer, and God knows I had no intention to. I got respect. I got all the respect in the world for Brenda Holt and Commissioner Holt and her time in office. Anybody who
Mhm.
serves deserves the utmost respect. But let me just be clear. I went to the mail. This is true. I went to the mail just before I came online today, and in my mailbox is this flyer right here. And every single person I'm sure in District 4 is going to get this flyer. And on the flyer, it says numbers don't lie. There it is right there. I mean, I don't know if you can see that or not, but it says numbers don't lie. And I want to read off some of these numbers to you because numbers don't lie, but people do. Numbers don't lie. That's true, but people do lie. Let me read a couple of these numbers. $6.3 million for Stevens School. Stevens School is not in our district. Grattan ain't being blessed by Stevens School. St. John ain't being blessed by Stevens School. $6.3 million. I mean, okay, if that's what you did. And let me just go ahead and clarify. When you see these numbers on a flyer like this means that Brenda Holt is taking credit for doing all of this stuff. When the truth of the matter is, when you look at projects like the wastewater project in Grattan that Representative Al Lawson helped push through, Brenda Holt did not do that work. If every commissioner in Grattan was on this line today, they would tell you that they did the work. The city manager did the work. The mayor did the work. The mayor pro tem, the city commissioners did the work. But she gets to put out a flyer that talks about all the things she's done. Watch this. $5 million for roads and bridges in District 4. Roads to where? I would suggest to you, roads to nowhere. $5 million for roads. Roads where? And where are they leading to? They ain't leading nowhere. $3.2 million for keys to new and renovated homes. It's right here on this flyer.
Wow.
And if you looked at the last budget meeting, the county administrator even said, if we're going to increase the tax base in Gadsden County, we got to build more. Either businesses got to build, and I hope you ask me about businesses later, because we missed out on some huge businesses like Amazon and the dollar store, all that kind of. We've missed out on some huge opportunities because of this commission. But the county administrator said we got to build more housing. $3 million in houses. I would like to know, where are they? And it certainly didn't increase the tax base. $2.8 million for the Gadsden County Extension Service Building. I don't know nothing much about the Gadsden County Extension Service Building. I know that they do research, so maybe that money has gone into research for the University of Florida and what they do. I don't want to get into that. But here's the last one. $500,000 for a countywide mobile health unit. And I want to ask everybody on this line, where the hell is the mobile unit?
Wow.
You ain't seen one in 20 years, and I guarantee you that you won't see one next year. These are all promises. This is all fluff. And the people who actually do the work have to sit back during an election year and watch these folks be on the news all day, take pictures in front of ribbons all day so they can push out these lies to us to make us feel like something is going on. And I just want to ask the residents of Gadsden County, especially District 4, have you felt $6.3 million for Stevens School? Have you felt $5 million for roads and bridges? Have you felt $3.2 million for keys to renovated homes in District 4? Have you felt $2.8 million for the Gadsden County Extension Service Building? Have you felt $500,000 for a countywide mobile unit? The answer to that is no. We don't feel that. All of that money we get from the national government, from the state government, we not feeling that. The everyday average person, we ain't feeling none of this stuff. But because you can put together a pretty flyer and send it in the mail, we look at this and think that this is success. And the truth of the matter is, this is a picture of absolute failure. It's a picture of failure.
Well, Clarence, you've said a whole lot. And I'm grateful that you're breaking down the numbers and, all of the truths and things that are unclear to a lot of Gadsden County residents. Right. I just want to say that this is not a bashing of Miss Holt. This is Clarence Jackson, who is sharing his heart behind the motivation behind him running for office.
Nicky, I want to jump in right here because here's what happens during political season. During political season, especially in Gadsden County, You
Mhm.
know, we sometimes we are uninformed voters, and I've been guilty of
Right.
that in the past.
Yep.
And in every other city, you have debates, you have forums. In
Mm.
Gadsden County for District 4, the one forum that we've had, the one debate we've had, the other candidates didn't even show up. It's
Wow.
not about bashing, it's absolutely the truth. And
Yeah.
I would meet Brenda Holt on the courthouse square and confront her with these very numbers. This is not a bash, this is the truth. And if the people don't know the truth, they're gonna click what they've always seen. They're gonna click the familiar. And we
Absolutely.
cannot allow that to happen. If you talk to the sheriff today, and if you look at the budget as matter of fact, the budget is not even done. I
Mm.
mean, when I worked as a mayor and a commissioner, you know, our budget was done and ready to be passed by August. These commissioners on the last meeting, they're still in budget workshops. An official budget hasn't even been presented, and it's going to be you know up in the air whether or not a budget you know that has any substance is passed before September.
Wow.
These are true statements. You can't argue with them. Now, people can get mad about it. People
Right.
can get mad about it. But if you want to get mad about it, I mean, you're mad at the truth. I wanted to address that. When you see this in your mail, numbers don't lie. Remember, I say it. Numbers don't lie, but people do.
My goodness, Clarence, that's powerful. That is powerful. And guys, look, know the truth. Be informed. We have to be informed. The only way we can bring forth change is to know the truth and act on that. Truth has to be activated in order for change to come. So now is the time for change. Clarence, you have poured out a whole lot on tonight. Is there anything specific that you would like for the voters to know, and the people that may come on later and the people that may share this? Can you share a few last words with the people about who you are, your motivation, and the mission behind you being a candidate for Gadsden County Commission District 4?
First of all, I'll say number one, thank you, Nikki, for having me. But the second thing I want to say is this: I know that there are several people in District 4 who have not seen me out. I mean, we
Right.
started our campaign all out with an absolute bang. You know, we had Tallahassee Nights Live over. You know, we were going out every single day, you know, knocking on doors. And, you know, I don't make no apologies, but I just want to tell people of District 4 that the reason why you haven't seen me is not because I'm arrogant, because I'm cocky, or because, you know, I think I'm going to win an election. At this point in my life, the election is not the most important thing to me. I've missed you because I've had 3 of the most traumatic months you'll ever want to have in your life. And I'm still dealing with that. But God has really strengthened me and He's getting me back to a place. And I know the election is upcoming. So I just want to say I'm afraid to use the word apologize because I think anybody who's ever lost anybody they love
Right.
uh, know how difficult of a time. And considering my dad, considering my daughter, it's just been difficult for me just to get back on track. But I
Mhm.
want to promise you this: I hadn't been there to shake your hand. I hadn't been there to knock on your door. But it's one thing that no one can ever say about Clarence Jackson. No one can ever say that I'm not a fighter. No one can ever say that I'm not a difference maker. I've made a difference every place I've been. When I became the pastor of Greater Bethel Missionary Baptist Church, where I was blessed to come back and help install a brand new pastor, Greater Bethel was struggling. But we turned that church around and built a great church. And people know about Greater Bethel as a successful church. We came to Destiny Church and we did some great things already. We bought $1 million facility. We renovated a $500,000 facility, and we've been successful at that. I've been successful in city government. We annexed the city of Gretna. Annexed the city of Gretna. Gretna was basically 1 square mile, but we annexed it out to 8 square miles to go all the way out to the Greensboro interchange of I-10 and Highway 12, and all the way out to Hardaway. These are the type of changes that I've made. This is on my record. This is not made up. You can look this stuff up and see that I've made a difference. The last thing I'll tell you is this: I want to bring the type of leadership to Gadsden County that says we hear the people. And I'm going to go back to that story of that boy in friendship. There's no sidewalk in friendship. There's no grass being cut in friendship. And that boy lost his friend. And he's afraid. And what's crazy is when me and Tom Murray were walking down, driving down the street doing a campaign visit, we saw somebody else walking in the middle of the street in friendship. We got to learn how to hear the people. I don't want to win this seat for me. I don't have to win it for me. I don't have to win it for me. God has blessed me with a successful business. And if I wanted to, Dee and I could just ride out into the sunset and just live the rest of our lives happy, Nikki, because you sparked my comment about not being an empty nester, and God must have heard me, and now all of a sudden we're empty nesters now. But my heart is for Gadsden County, and I want to help us build a place where my children and your children will want to come back home and call it home.
Absolutely, Clarence. Thank you so much. Everything that you've said has truly hit, from the heart, because we all understand. We know. We saw you. We saw you when you had to bury your father. We saw you when you had to bury your baby. When these things, and the way you handled them, the way you and Dee handled both those situations, I can't even imagine. I can't even imagine how you have overcome, how you have pushed forward, and how your faith has truly inspired other people's faith. How you have given us, enough power to overcome our circumstances, which our circumstances may not have been that big, but you have kept walking. You have been consistent. You have still reached out. You're still concerned about the citizens of Gadsden County, and that is what we see. That is what I see, and I'm blessed to be your friend, be your classmate, and I just want to see change come in our communities as well. Not only Gadsden, but Leon. I want to see change come in these communities that we live and work and have church and serve the people. So again, thank you. Thank you again for sharing your heart, for sharing with us, the motivation behind why you stepped out at this very time. And now we understand. And for all of you that are out there, continue to get to know the candidates. Get to know the people that you're voting for. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo will not work in this season. It is detrimental that we make informed decisions when we go to the polls. So again, thank you so much, my friend, for being on. Thank you, your family, Mama Leslie, Dee. God bless you all. And to all of you that are out there, thank y'all for tuning in to the Life in the Now broadcast with Nicky Collins. Join me next week. There'll be another candidate that we'll have right here on the show. So it's time to be informed before you go to the polls. Change is necessary, and change is now.